All right, guys, welcome to this week's podcast for 1/13/2020. I have a special guest on the line. The man himself, the side pressure king, Toddzilla, joins me today. Welcome, Todd. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Derek. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man, I've been dying to get people of your caliber on this podcast. I had Devin, and now I have you. You know, I mean, I think you're a little stronger than Devin. You know, he had to run from you, and that side pressure, you know, he had to run to that King's move. We all saw it. But you know, to each his own.
So we're gonna start the podcast off by talking shit right off the bat.
I like to, you know, I like especially Devin. I like to poke fun at him, you know, because he's so small. He needs to eat more. He has to get out there, you know. Guys running to King's moves. Before we get into it, before I forget, shout out to all the sponsors and people who help me out with this podcast: Country Crush, Lion Straps, and NatFit, Jamie Sheldon's supplement line. Do you take supplements, Todd?
I take Jamie Sheldon's NatFit stuff.
Oh, you do?
I don't buy it from Jamie. I buy it from my salesman's Nate.
Okay.
And, I got all the NatFit stuff.
Oh, you're all NatFitted out. Perfect, man. Yeah, I didn't know that you were taking NatFit. Cool. So a couple things I want to kind of touch on a little bit before we get into the normal podcast section. I want to talk about you motivating people. I get a lot of new guys, especially as a team captain out here, and I'll get a lot of new guys that are a little bit older, right? That are in their 35 plus years old, that are just starting. A lot of people point to your story that you started older, and supposedly Tim Brzenk started a little bit older as well. Can you touch on maybe how and why it's still possible for those guys to be successful, and what might be different because they're older?
If you're starting older and if you've got any history in any weight training whatsoever, then you've got a big leg up on most people, especially if you come from powerlifting or even a football or baseball regimen where you got some weightlifting experience. Because by the time you're older, you've had a lot of time to put a lot of mass and bone into your body. I started at 35 and then dinked around for a couple of years before I settled on a good actual, weight training gym routine. So if you're starting now at 35 to 40, you've got a lot more experience out there to draw upon. You don't have to make a lot of stuff up on your own. So, and to be honest, YouTube and the internet and everything else has just brought good scientific strength training to the world now. So,
right,
those guys that start at my age, if you're starting at 35, you should be able to pass me because you're not going to make the mistakes I made.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this social media and stuff and being able to use all these videos, it changes things so much. Because back in the day, Alan Fisher was lifting with the garage door spring, thinking that's the top way to train, because there wasn't information out there, and a lot of old school guys had their own ways of getting stronger. While now everybody's kind of sharing, techniques and training ideas.
Yeah. But you have to filter it because there's still people training with garage door springs.
Oh no, I'm not saying that's incorrect. I'm just saying, it's a little old school, a little barbaric compared to the way, some people are some people are Ivan Drago and training in a scientific lab, and some people are Rocky in the barn doing sit-ups. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, Drago wins that fight.
That's true. Good. So yeah, because they definitely get discouraged a little bit, especially when I start talking about healing and stuff like that, and they see how fast these 21-year-olds are springing back from practice and stuff, and just bouncing back from everything. And I know the older guys tend to get a little discouraged.
Oh yeah, it hurts.
Do you think? Okay, on that topic, do you think I'm a big believer in telling new arm wrestlers to arm wrestle as much as possible at the beginning, because not only to get safety dialed in, to get your arm wrestling mechanics dialed in, to know the moves and the counters, but also to start kind of reformatting your bones and your joints so that way you can apply more pressure sideways and whatnot, right? So do you think that? First off, do you agree with that, and do you think that the older guys should do the same thing with table time or take it easy?
I think the beginners need to spend a lot of time on the table, but not against other beginners or amateurs or anything like that.
Right.
Those amateur classes and novice classes and stuff, I mean, it's a lot of just bad ideas circulating around. I would like my beginners to practice with very experienced professional level people as much as they can, and not worry too much about the earlier tournaments. I tell all beginners it takes 3 to 5 years to get to the national level anyway. So, be easy on that first 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it's all. I just keep pushing experience to all my guys. I say everything's experience to this first part. I mean, do you really care about an amateur medal in 3 years? Are you going to care about that amateur medal? No. So it's all about gaining experience, not only through practice but through tournaments as well. So I encourage enter every class you can, arm wrestle as much as you can at first, with experienced people, and then it's that way they can just keep growing and learn from their first year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. You know what? From there, we'll just jump straight into the Reddit podcast stuff. That was the first thing I'd written down. This wasn't really planned. I was just talking to Todd about something. Oh, by the way, is it cool if we announce what you hit me up about earlier, Todd?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
On February 23rd, anybody listening to this, Todd Hutchings will be attending my practice over in Southern California. We're in San Bernardino in Southern California. Obviously, everybody is welcome to come out. That's February 23rd. He'll be out here and be arm wrestling and drinking and being funny. So yeah, you guys come out for that. But so we were talking about that earlier, and so just randomly I was like, you know what, you want to be on the podcast today? And he said sure, and so here we are. So I did not have a long time to prepare questions and get all ready for this, so it's kind of on the fly. All right, so the first thing I found on Reddit since last time I did my podcast was sorry if this gets a little boring with you, Todd, but I like to touch on all these topics. Guy posted by Anavar, that's his name. He asked, do you guys know where I can buy top 8 shirts from arm wrestling, including the name if possible? Oh, you want like a jersey, like pro guys jerseys. I think you can get those on armpower.net, which is Mazurenko's website. I believe all that shit's on there. Todd, do you have any jerseys out there with your name on it that you know of that people can buy?
Just the ones Ryan made when I was in Australia a few months ago.
Oh, he made shirts with your name on it, dude.
Yeah, he put my whole face on it.
I don't know if I'd want that. That might scare the children. I mean, maybe the name would be okay.
It's kind of odd, I tell all the women to wear them inside out. It's like I'm giving them a big hug.
That's perfect. Yeah, wear them inside out. All right, moving on to the next post. Posted by Basement Squatch. Ottawa High Hookers, enjoy our thoughts and views, mostly Don having no filter. So it's a video link on here that someone shared of an Ottawa High Hooker practice, Devin's team, and there's a guy named Don Smith in there who's, I actually started talking to recently, who's like one of those guys at practice that just doesn't stop ever. You know what I mean? Like beyond arms being trashed, beyond everything, just keeps coming at you until you break down and he tries to pin you and stuff like that. Do you have any of those guys on your team currently, Todd, that do that, or were you ever that guy?
I used to be able to pull for quite a long time. That's usually a pretty strong guy that can do that outlasts everybody else. Mm-hmm. So it's usually a sign of one of the strongest guys there. I don't have a regular training group, right now. I probably practice every other month or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Wes Bjornsson was saying he was coming up every once in a while to train with you and give you that flop wrist press.
Yep. And then, and I travel quite a bit now for a practice, so.
Oh, do you? Is that?
Yeah, I just don't do it then. I don't have a regular once a week or 2 a week practice anymore.
Oh, yeah, you don't need it. Basically, I mean, do you think at your point, at your like current, spot in your arm wrestling career, that what is priorities? Is it just maintaining muscle mass? Because you're not really going to be reformatting your joints anymore. That's pretty much built. You have your move pretty much dialed in your lanes for the most part. So is it really just staying on top of like muscle growth and maybe a little bit of tendons as far as physically? Is that what?
Yeah, I still train as hard as I ever did. If I was still pulling a lot of tournaments, I'd still do a lot of practicing. But with the WAL, it's a super match format. You have a month or two to study. You're going to pull one guy, and you got a couple of months' notice. So,
right.
You know what? I need to develop 1 or 2 moves, and I got 2 months to do it. So I don't need constant table time practice for skills training. And I've never found the table to be really good for developing strength.
Right.
So,
right.
But yeah, once they pick an opponent for me and I know who it is, then I get on the internet and I say, okay, I'm looking for people who can help me train against that particular person, and then I go to their practice.
Next year, by the way, they plan on having you in the supers again?
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, as long as we all Okay, and by the way, this is no dig at Rob Vigent. You know, I know everybody's taking digs at Rob, but like, man, I really enjoyed seeing you pull with people at your normal weight, and it's cool. I mean, I see your matches in supers personally as like fantasy matches. Like, what would happen if a T-Rex fought a tiger? You know, like, like it's interesting to watch those, but like, I mean, that's not where you're supposed to be normally. You know, like, it's great if you get a win, that's awesome. But it's just like, man, you're pulling these huge dudes, and not that you don't have the horsepower, but
I'm just glad to know I'm your fantasy match, Derek.
No, honestly, you and Devin, because you guys are probably a couple of my favorite pullers in the world. You two and probably Gennady Fikvinia are probably my top 3 favorite guys to watch arm wrestle. And so, and by the way, I heard Gennady might be joining WAL pretty soon.
Nice. Hey, can you hold on for just about 2 seconds?
Yeah.
What you got? Hello. See, I'm still at work, so I still got work coming in every once in a while. Okay.
It's totally okay. So basically, we're gonna move on to the next topic right now. Anyway, while Todd's dealing with that, let's see. Okay. So the next thing posted by Luca9129 is a video made by ArmBets TV talking about Brzenk was the only one to beat Saplenkov. Brzenk is back. So this is basically the topic of John coming back, and you know, I think that even assuming that John will be at full form and anywhere near his strength level of when he beat Dennis might be a stretch, but it's actually perfect that we have Todd Hutchings on here who knows John way better than I do. So, Todd,
Chafee beat Saplenkov once too.
That's true. That's true. Do you think? About in regards to John's return, where do you think, what should we expect to see realistically out of John?
I haven't talked to him in a while, but it looks like he's coming in and around the 95 kilo class again.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, John's hand is just phenomenal.
Right.
I don't know if 2020 John could beat the super heavyweights of today. I think he can still beat Michael Todd, but I'm not so sure how he'd go up against like Levan and those folks. But I'll tell you what, that is one man who knows how to win a tournament.
John?
And I would never bet against him. And if you've ever you've practiced with him because we practiced in Arizona that one time.
Yeah. I pulled John a few times. I had a super match with John. He whipped my ass.
Yeah, he feels vulnerable in practice, but that guy pulls it all together. He's got a definite competitive streak, you know, and he knows how to win tournaments. That he's absolutely amazing there.
Yeah, no, it's true. He's very smart. I remember at the UAL 8, the one where he beat Michael Todd. I was there. I pulled him in that class, and he was not messing around. He knows how to structure the tournaments, looks at the brackets, has game plans for every single person there. Like, doesn't mess around. John is very intentional puller. Doesn't do anything just by, in the heat of the moment. He knows what he's doing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he takes his ego completely out of it, and that's lacking in a lot of today's pullers, I think. All this trying to be on TV and trying to make YouTube highlight reels and everything else. We get a lot more characters in the sport than we get just cold, calculating pullers. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's definitely very true. Everybody's trying to get known. I went down to Mexico last weekend, and I had amazing matches, big practice with a lot of the teams from Mexico and stuff like that. And there were some super strong dudes, and the guys were messaging me asking me for their clips of them pinning me because I got pinned a few times. And I was like, wait, why are you asking me for these clips? It's a practice. What are we doing here? It scared me. But those guys were actually all really awesome and hospitable. Okay, so moving forward on Reddit here. Next one is posted by a guy named Neither Stay. He says, pulley system for table practice. Where can I find a good cable pulley system to train with on a table since I have nobody to train with? I'll post a link on there, guys. The BD62 is a single column adjustable pulley system, which is great, and you add plates to it. Todd, when you started working, you work out of your house, right? Or do you go to a gym?
Correct.
And is everything homemade, or did you buy pre-made stuff?
I've got a store-bought power rack.
Mm.
I've got 2 borrowed arm wrestling tables, and then my pulley system I borrowed from a fella named Dave Dutton, and it's the pulley. It's the pin stack off of like a seated row machine.
Okay. Okay, and it has substantial weight. So you add weight on there, or it has weights already?
It's got 150 pounds of plates on it, and then if I want to put more than 150 pounds on it, I just take plates and I chain them to the little lifting eye at the top of the number 10 plate.
Oh, okay. So you can add more onto it.
I can add more. I can add like 2.5 pounds because it jumps by 10 pounds.
Right.
So I can add a 2.5 pound plate and a 5 pound plate. So I can go from like 60 to 62.5 to 65, 67.5 before I have to go all the way up from 60 to 70.
Okay. On that topic, how are your lifts? I know you track all your lifts, right? You have a journal or so that you keep track of all your lifts.
Yep.
And how are your numbers doing? Are they at an all time high or compared to the rest of your career? I guess.
I work up to the numbers I'm lifting. What happens is every time I get a new opponent or I get new weaknesses, I change the vectors that I'm actually training.
Right.
So, like a year or so ago, I was hitting a big fat wrist wrench really, really hard. I'm not hitting it so much now. I'm trying to develop more pronating type stuff. So my pronating lifts are all going up, and the lifts you don't train, they don't go up.
Right.
So. So some of my straight up just wrist wrench side pressure lifts are down, but my pronating lifts are coming up. So, you can't specialize it. It's hard to raise everything, in arm wrestling just because, well, I'm sure you can do it. I haven't figured out that key yet. So.
No, man, I'm still learning. I think the noob gains, when you first start, you're kind of gaining everywhere at first. And then once you get to that like little plateau-y area, then things start getting a little weird. As far as gains. All right, let's see. Moving forward. Okay, this one posted by Vegetarian Vegetable. Says, just another pain question. More question of pain severity, I guess. I recently began table training, and the deep throbbing pains I get are almost unbearable, certainly without anti-inflammatories. I'm talking about a deep pain resulting from a fully flexed brachialis muscle pulling against a spirally stressed humerus, myofascial pain, as opposed to tendon or muscle pain. Does this ever get better or at least less bad as time goes on? Not sure if I can keep pulling if it ruins my sleep and keeps me from exercising for a whole week after. On a side note, does anyone else think the degree to which someone experiences an inflammatory response and therefore pain from the kind of shearing myofascial stress I mentioned above is a good metric for their likelihood of success in the sport? So basically, like, are these pains normal? How long do I have to go through this pain? And if I'm, the more pain, does that make it seem like I'm doing better in the sport? What do you think, Todd?
First, your elbows will hurt as long as you're arm wrestling.
Yep.
Take anti-inflammatory medicines. I think pretty much everybody's on it. But realize that soreness comes from the negative stuff. The beginners get it because they're getting ripped open. Right. You don't get sore bench pressing by pushing the bar up. What causes you to get sore bench pressing is the bar coming against you. So if you're getting beat up in practice all the time, don't fight every match, when you're 2 and 3 inches from the pin or locked up. You just have to, and if you're the experienced pullers, don't beat the hell out of your beginners so much. It hurts them, and you're not doing them any good.
Right.
Don't do any negative. I see too many people trying to do negative, like they're trying to hit a new plateau on a heavy lift, so they'll grab a couple of negatives. Like, stop doing negatives. And then just you need to throw bunches and bunches of volumes into that elbow, and it'll get better. So lots of JM presses, lots of tricep extensions, lots of bicep curls, barbell curls, just, in sets of 30, 40, 50. You need lots of volume on the elbow. It'll strengthen those tendons. It'll flush that inflammation out, and you can train and lift harder.
Right.
But, yeah, if I have a really, really hard practice, it knocks my lifting back at least a week or two.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now, I got Ingen Terzi is helping oversee my training right now. He's online coaching me a little bit. Just started a couple months ago, but Ingen kind of pushes the same thing. I mean, in all my lifts and everything like that, and especially even at practice, I'm generally always either in a neutral to a winning position. I spend little to no time unless I'm holding or helping a new guy and letting him be in a winning position. But besides that, I'm constantly on the winning side of the table and from neutral to winning. I spend zero time on the losing side of the table in a serious, trying to get stronger form. There's just no reason to be there.
Well, I don't I mean, as far as training goes, like if you're using a wrist wrench or something in your pulley system, I don't mind lifting from the losing position.
Mm.
I mean, I don't mind lifting from one pin pad to the other pin pad on the concentric phase. But
Right.
once you did that rep, say you went from your losing pin pad to your winning pin pad, then grab it with two hands and release it up.
No, yeah, I got you.
Ideally, for bicep curls, you would curl the bar from your waist up to your chest, and then your spotter would help you lower it back down. It's the negative movements that are causing you soreness, not the positive movements. So it's the concentric movements building you power. It's the eccentric movements building you sore.
Really? So it's not just like lactic acid building up and all that stuff you're talking about, or you're talking about like
lactic acid that's what you want to heal. Is you want to do lots and lots of reps and build that lactic acid up. That's basically the telegraph telling your brain to release all those good chemicals that fixes your body.
right.
So that's why we do at the homeschool gym class. We do lots of bicep curls and lots of tricep extensions to build that lactic acid up in the elbows to heal that. But yeah, if you're doing super heavy stuff, 1 rep max workout stuff like on a wrist wrench from a high pulley, 1 rep max. Start from a dead start, pull it down to your rep, grab it with 2 hands, and let it back up.
Interesting.
Yeah, avoid the negatives.
I'm going to have to start implementing that more. Yeah, I definitely don't avoid the negatives as much. Yeah.
And there's a great article on this. There's thousands of great articles. But you go to Westside Barbell
Right.
and Google eccentrics. And the other people call them heavy negatives. There's a great article in there that explains how these negatives and eccentric motions cause soreness and make you weaker.
So one thing I've always, like, when I'm thinking about getting stronger at arm wrestling and strength things, and honestly, when I was thinking about looking for an online coach and someone to help me get stronger for arm wrestling, when it came to Americans, the 2 people that pretty much popped in my head were you and Herman Stevens, actually. Those are 2 people that I really respect that went from not the strongest guy to really knowing how to get strong and then becoming very strong. You know what I mean? And so do you know, I haven't talked to Herman extensively about his training. Does he follow a similar regimen to you? Do you know?
Well, he's super smart, so he probably does.
Well, you guys are both engineers, right? He is too, I think.
Yeah, I think he's a better engineer. I think he's a smarter engineer than me because I think he makes way more money than I do. But yeah, we're both engineers. And when I talk to Herman, we see things pretty much the same way. So,
yeah.
But I don't know what his current training routine is. Mine's been out there for decades. Mine hasn't
the
changed
conjugate method. Conjugate method's been around for a while. Westside came out with that, right?
Correct.
You just tuned it for arm wrestling. You were the first person to do that.
That's exactly right. I just shamelessly copied it for arm wrestling.
All right, so moving forward on this, posted by Luca9129. It's a video of Levan Saganashvili doing a 105 kg dumbbell curl. Basically, he's doing he's on a preacher curl bar, and he has a dumbbell in his hand, and he's doing like a kind of a. He's not actually moving his body. He's doing it all arm, but he goes to about 90 and then back up. That's crazy. That dude is so strong. How do you feel? How do you think it would go if you really, in your good shape, if you hit sideways and got on Levan's wrist? How do you think that would feel?
Well, I hit sideways and got deep into some Plinkoff once, and he just put it in low gear and pulled me all the way back out. So
Jesus,
I would assume it would go about the same way.
Well, I think they're both crazy strong, but I think they're a little bit different angles. It seems like I think Levan likes to have a little bit higher, post a little bit higher, while Plinkoff will grab you around your fucking elbow and pull you across the table. It seems like, So I don't know. I have faith in your side pressure against a lot of people. It seems that the only time you take any kind of loss anytime recently is when people go around it or away from it, like to their fullest extent. Flop it underneath it, Kings move it around the back of it, like stay away from it, it seems like.
Yeah, I need to develop some versatility.
A little late in the game. Oh, you're going to switch it up now, huh? All right. I
got to switch it up, man. They're not giving me smaller people. They're not giving me older people. They're not giving me weaker people.
You know what sucks is that, I would love to see you back in the old class. There's so many amazing pullers coming up with Paul Lynn and Storm Chelino, so strong, and seeing all those guys come up. I really want to see you arm wrestle those guys, and it sucks I'm not going to get a chance to.
Well, they can arm wrestle me in super heavyweight.
Dude, honestly, have you felt Storm's hand? That's fine. He could hang. If he got a little heavier, I think that dude would have no
I
problem.
haven't pulled him, and I think it was a year ago, maybe last year.
Yeah. Yeah, his hand is crazy, wild strong. Okay, moving forward, posted by Luca9129. It's the video of Levan Saginashvili is his whole journey through the top 8. His matches with Tim Brzenk and him at home training and stuff like that, and just a Levan story for the last year, basically. But it's crazy seeing some of the pictures and stuff of his growth from when he was young to now. Dude looks way different. The vitamins out there.
Yeah, but all big people were small ones. I mean, we were all born somewhere between 8 and 13 pounds.
Not me, man. I think I came out this size. I came out 6'8".
I mean, even Cleve Dean was probably a 13-pound baby. You know?
Probably, huh? Bay and Hale.
Look at those world's strongest men. I mean, it used to be a world's strongest man was in the upper 200s, low 300s. Now they're all north of 400, and they were all born. I mean, they all came out of a woman too. So
yeah, that's true. We all do have a same starting point. We do have a same starting point. That's for sure. Okay, moving forward, posted by NNQ2603. It's a video of Mindaugas Terasaitis versus Latvian arm wrestlers in training. So, Mindaugas Terasaitis, you know who Mindaugas is, right, Todd? Todd, you there? Did we lose you? Uh-oh. Mr. Todd?
No, I'm here, but you sound like R2-D2 or something.
Oh, sorry. How do I sound now? Better?
Synthesizer beeps and buzzes. I didn't hear any words.
I said, do you know who Mindaugas Terasaitis is? Uh-oh.
I know the name, but I wouldn't, if you showed me the face, I couldn't tell you his name. But
okay.
I know the guy's name.
He's from, I think, is it Latvia? No, Lithuanian arm wrestler? Oh, man, can't remember exactly. But he's a really light guy. He won the Arnolds, basically, and he's just the shining example of size not meaning strength, right? Like dudes, like, you remember, what's his name? He is an arm wrestler, John Woolsey. Remember John Woolsey?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Like that, picture a little bit shorter, but that kind of build. Almost like, string beanie, but crazy strong. Walked through Jeff Hill at the Arnolds like he wasn't even there. Beat everybody, got first place in his weight class. And so it's a video of him training with Vlad and the other Latvian arm wrestlers, and the dude is just crazy strong at like I don't know how much he weighs. It has to be like 165 or so. So do you think that's just a testament to tendon and connective tissue, or do you think that it's just angles and stuff?
First, I don't use the word angles anymore, but most arm wrestling, you just need the muscles to stabilize everything. Most of the movement usually comes from your hips anyways. You don't really bicep curl in arm wrestling. You lock the elbow up, but then you lean or pull or drag into it. So, I mean, the muscles are for flexing the joints, but in arm wrestling, we don't do a lot of actual joint flexing. You could probably develop an entire arm wrestling weightlifting routine around just isometrics. I'm not doing that because I am dangerously underweight. I'm like bulimic in my weight class, so I need to get bigger.
Right.
But if I was in the 300-pound class, I would probably do more isometric training, which would allow you to do a lot more maximal and slightly sub-maximal lifting with no soreness and no tear-up. Because isometrics do not make you sore, but allows you to develop tons and tons of force into the weight. So that's the other thing beginners should probably do is let some of the reps go away and do a lot more isometrics until their pain's alleviated.
Yeah, so more just static movements, or static holds. Yeah. That seems interesting. I gotta try this, especially when I'm beat up, and see how that starts.
Stop. Not just holding.
What's that? Oh, wait, you're breaking up, Todd.
You're doing a very, very slow negative. You actually have to pull it and stop. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try all that stuff. When dealing with pain, I know that's a big topic, especially for new guys, is them dealing with pain and how to get over it and stuff. And they worry that, oh man, I think I really messed something up, this time. And just having faith in the process and realizing that you're gonna go through it, especially when you're changing.
What do you think?
Oh, what's that?
Keep people you don't know.
Oh, I only heard the end of that. I only heard it was people you don't know. What'd you say?
I don't like people texting or emailing me saying, "Hey, I hurt. What do you think?" I say, I think you need to call a doctor and stop emailing strangers for medical advice.
Though usually that's the first thing I say. A disclaimer: I am not a doctor, and to look for medical advice on an arm wrestling message board is not the best way to go. I always say that for sure.
Yeah, because if you email me, I say, "Suck it up, Buttercup."
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to Wes for a couple minutes, Wes Bjornson, and I told him, I said, "Hey, it looks like Todd's going to be on the podcast," and I said, "I have a feeling that generally all his answers are going to be something along the lines of don't be a pussy and pull through it." I was assuming we're going to get a lot of that. Okay, so moving forward, this is a video posted by Michael Todd, and it's a video about Michael Todd, posted by Michael Todd.
Michael Todd posted a video about Michael Todd? That's so out of character.
So, it's kind of going over, his life and what him and Rebecca are about and training and competing and stuff like that.
Hey, are there any pictures in there where he's not wearing a shirt? Because I haven't seen any shirtless Michael Todd pictures ever.
I think there might be one or two in there. I'm not sure. I can't remember. So, on topic, on Michael Todd topic, actually, you know what, on the King's move topic. So it seems like Michael obviously has his dialed in. Devin's gaining one. It's becoming more and more popular. I'm seeing it in more and more practices. Like newer pullers are mimicking it and stuff, and people are starting to view it as a viable move and an option. So if the league is going to allow it, what are your thoughts on everything moving forward, and how do you think that'll shape the league and the world of arm wrestling in general?
Oh, I think it's going to be quite popular. Last tournament I went to, I think I saw 3 or 4 in the, I forgot what they called it, either amateur or novice class. So, I mean, you got brand new arm wrestlers doing it in tournaments now. So, yep. I think it's going to be quite popular.
Well, I mean, what do you think that means? I mean, how is that going to change everything?
I think I need another year or two, and I will vaccinate the entire league against it, and I will rid that horrible virus.
You're just gonna via side pressure just shatter through people's elbows?
I don't think it'll be side pressure. It'll be something. I got probably the secret's probably the way John Brzenk beat Michael Todd. The Shake and Red did it. We can do that. The car and Simplica did it.
Right.
Nowadays the way Michael it's probably in range to most of us than the way Brzenk did it.
So, I mean, you're breaking up a little bit, but basically, what I believe you're saying is that the way when John Brzenk beat Michael Todd, where he stopped him center of the table, Todd separated himself, got completely separated and spread out, but John sat center of the table, maintaining his hand, and then waited for a little bit of lactic acid to build up, and then started slamming into it in proper form and able to apply all his pressure at once. Do you think that's going to be more the key?
I think that's the most likely scenario of beating a King's move. If I was going to develop a move to beat it, I would start there.
Right.
That would be my benchmark. I wouldn't start with the way Jerry Caderet did it or like Pushkar does it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and it sucks because
unless I was Jerry Caderet or Pushkar, but I'm not. If I was me in like 180-pound weight class, I would probably go a Jerry Caderet or a Pushkar move. But if you have to pull people bigger than you, then I think you need to do it the way John does. I mean, John made a lot of money beating people a lot bigger than him.
Right. True. That's very true. It sucks because I think at that level, especially like the top guys in the world, they have this like these one moves or so. Most people that they are so strong in this one thing, and they've made a living around this one thing that all of a sudden, when you see the answer is the complete opposite of you and your tendencies and your strengths, then like what? Okay, go reformat everything. So if like Jerry's answer was, he needs to keep a high wrist with somebody, like what's he gonna do? Start training a high wrist or just press harder?
Well, I got to learn how to top roll, so fuck Jerry. He can learn how to keep the same hand.
That's true. That is true. I mean, yeah, well-rounded. I can't wait to see you top roll some. I can't wait. That would be the.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty. It might be the single greatest move in this century's old sport.
You're gonna have to show me at practice. When you come to practice, I want to see this top roll for sure. I'll make sure.
Yeah, it'll be sweet.
All cameras are gonna be off.
Admission.
Yeah, I got to see this thing for sure. All right, we're almost done. Moving forward, posted by the Sesh Calls. Guy says, I did some arm sumo last weekend at a small tournament, first one in the UK, and somehow outlasted my 120 kg teammate 2-1. We've both been training about 9 months. And then there's a small video clip of this guy beating his buddy at arm sumo. You know what arm sumo is, right? Todd?
I saw the video Devin made about it
right
a while ago when he was over there. Yeah, that's all I've seen was just that video Devin made.
Yeah, it's basically freedom arm wrestling for the most part, you know. Would you ever try freedom arm wrestling?
Would I what?
Would you try freedom arm wrestling or arm sumo?
Well, I mean, if the WL would, said, hey, for 2021, 701 event is now all freedom arm wrestling. I go, yep. That's what I'm doing then.
Man, that would
because if it's one thing that really sets apart a centuries-old sport is the constant evolution and changing of it.
Yeah. I know. We got to keep adapting it and changing it to the new times. It's all Devin's fault. Blame Devin on all this.
That's what all those Shaolin monks are doing. They're up there constantly changing Kung Fu.
Constantly. Well, at some point it had to be changed when it was developed, right? I mean... So let's see. Okay, almost there. Posted by Criminal Scum. It's an old 2014 match with Devin and Bowden. Wasn't easy finding. Do you remember that championship in Las Vegas where where you picked me as your super heavyweight on a team with me, you, Jordan Sill, and Lisa Wolfley? Do you remember that WL championship?
Yep.
And I could not understand for the life of me why you guys picked me first off. I was nowhere near ready for that, and I got my ass whooped. You and Jordan did pretty good, and I think Lisa did well as well.
Lisa Wolfley was really, really beautiful, and we needed you to balance out that.
Right. So two beautiful people on one team. That makes sense.
Clever. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm glad we didn't have to rehearse this show.
So that was the tournament though where I remember I think his name's Brandon Bowden. That dude was huge. You remember him, the guy that was in the finals that beat Devin, the super heavyweight? Or do you not recall him?
You broke up on me a little bit.
Do you remember I think his name's Brandon Bowden, the giant dude that won that tournament in the super heavyweight class? I think I'm breaking up. Am I still breaking up, Todd?
Oh, yeah, I remember him. He was relatively new then, too.
Was he?
I haven't seen him in a while. I saw him in New Orleans once as well.
Yeah, after that tournament, I never really saw him again. After that WAL, I don't know. I mean, but he handled everybody pretty well that time. I think that was the one where Devin won the motorcycle, where he won the keys for the motorcycle. Yeah, and then Tom Nelson climbed on the motorcycle and was trying to take it.
Yeah, I think I had 4 keys.
You had 4 keys?
I had at least 2. I had 2 keys and neither one of them worked.
Oh, shit.
I can't remember. No, I know I had at least 2. I had more keys than anybody else. I think 2. So I think you're only allowed 1 weight class back then. I had 2 keys and everybody, and Devin and for the same weight class, and I think the heavyweight split. I can't remember if Travis pulled, but yeah, I had 2 keys, and I had more keys than other people, and neither one of them. Hell, one of the keys I drew wasn't even a motorcycle; it was like a house key. I was like, "Oh, someone just threw their house key into the pit."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not the winning key.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Evil Cheddar posted underrated stop. Everyone knows that Larrett versus Dennis was pretty much a bloodbath. Here's the thing. I think that first first slight stop Larrett got on Dennis in the very first strap match is underappreciated. Respect the strength needed to stop him even for just a moment before Larrett got pinned. So they're talking about when Devin pulled Dennis and that Devin stopped him for a split second in the straps in one of the matches, I guess. What do you think about that? Todd, you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Do you remember that match? The Dennis and Devin super match?
Yeah, that was Devin with his long hair.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that amazing match.
Yeah, Dennis looked crazy strong.
Well, I mean, he looked like Dennis. I mean, I don't even know. Does anybody know how strong he is left-handed? I mean, has anybody seen him really struggle like all out that much?
No, back in the day, him and Pushkar used to split the right and left hands, but the fact that they're splitting it means Dennis was at least second place left hand.
Yeah, right. At worst, he was the second best in the world.
Yeah, I mean, and I think even then, him and Pushkar were fairly close. So, I mean, I'll bet you Dennis's left is still phenomenal.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. Okay. Let me touch on this real quick. 2 things left, and then we're all done here. Someone posted high hook versus top roll. I'm often confused between the high hook and the top roll as they can look very similar. What is the main difference between these two? What are the pros/cons, and why isn't the high hook used more often? Oh, that is an interesting question. Why isn't the high hook used more often in a tournament? It generally is full top roll or full hook or flop press.
I don't know. When I heard the term high hook without knowing what it was, I loved it. So I went years thinking I was doing the high hook until someone demonstrated it to me. And I go, oh, that's a stupid move. I'm going to go with mine.
Yeah, I like my high hook. That's way better.
What I understand the high hook is just top rolling with your knuckles down, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess. I
don't know. I mean, to me, a high hook is a hook, but instead of your knuckles pointing horizontal, you're in a hook and your knuckles are pointing up towards the ceiling. But when somebody, I think it was Wes Bjornsson that said, no, that's not a high hook, and he showed it to me, and I go, well, in Utah, they call that fishing for whatever reason. But what I think the descriptive term high hook, I think is an awesome move. I use it all the time. If it's a hook where your knuckles are still pointed kind of up it's like you're posting in a hook as opposed to dragging in a hook. I don't know what it's called, and if it should be called a high hook, but since that name's trademarked, I'll just call it something else, like the Chubby Blonde or the Low-Cal Beer or something.
The Chubby Blonde or the Low-Cal Beer. In my definition of the high hook, it's pretty much actually an outside move. I mean, generally because you post up tall, but your shoulder dips backwards. And when anybody's shoulder dips backwards, I call it an outside move. And so you're controlling someone's hand and then just cupping straight sideways. And then from there, once you control the hand, you can do whatever. It can lead into a top roll, a hook, press, whatever you want it to do. That's the way I've always seen a high hook, but who knows? Whatever. So last thing I want to touch on before we let you go here is a video posted by Ryan Blue Bowen. He says he's ready for Chance Shaw in a super match. And it's a video of him practicing with an Australian team the last couple of days. So let's talk about Ryan Bowen and your protege, your student, your vector Padawan.
Okay. What do you want to know about it? First, there can't be too much people don't know because the guy posts like 5 videos a day. I'm pretty sure there are no unanswered questions about Ryan Bowen. That's
true. I mean, but as his coach and strength coach, that he gives a lot of credit to and stuff like that. What do you think about his Zloty Tour performance?
Well, 2 things. One, even though he was fully informed, until you go over there and pull it, you cannot understand how different it is. And we told him what it was going to be like. Me, Devin, and John Brzenk all gave him the same advice going over there. Then when he got there, he said the same thing. Wow, they don't grip, they don't load, they're super fast. He he got really strong in his, I don't know, he went over there to top roll, and he doesn't top roll as good as they do. It's basically what I saw. It looks like too many of his matches, he never got to get into the match, so he obviously wasn't, it's hard. If somebody's not loading up with you, then you got to load up against yourself and leave your hand loose, because they're strict on the calls over there.
Right.
But he'll do a lot better the next time. That first time you go over there, it's, I've been over there multiple times. I was just digging through my storage locker, and I keep pulling one yellow shirt out after another. I'd forgotten I'd been over there as often as I have. And every time I go over there and I pull left hand, I'm still dumbfounded by how bad I do left-handed over there. It takes that whole left-handed tournament for me to get tuned up and basically forget American arm wrestling, which American arm wrestling doesn't mean much anymore because we change the rules and the equipment every year. But
to better suit us?
Yeah, to a better system. But, if you think back, I don't know, the Zloty Tour is the premier arm wrestling tournament in the world and has been for a very long time. Ryan Bowen was coming out, he arm wrestled 7 or 8 years in Australia, so other than Danny Tesh, nobody knows anybody from Australia. So he beat, second tier guys in the, he competed against second tier guys in the WAL. Now he's going to go over there and try and beat, probably the top 4 or 5 people in every weight class over there are all premier world-class people. I mean, it was a tall order to go over there and try and make top 4, top 8 anyways. So,
right.
But you'll be better prepared next time. It's an experience to go over there. It's tough.
Right. I know. I agree. I plan on going actually this year if everything goes well. I have the Arnold's and I want to go to Zloty. I've never been before, and the World Championships are all backwards right now, so I'm gonna go to Zloty. Screw it.
It's worth going. You got to go. It's like Vegas. You got to commit to going 3 times.
3 times.
The first time is just, oh shit, what the hell's going on? The second time is, oh, damn it, I still didn't learn anything. And then the third time is, wow, this shit's hard, but at least I'm not embarrassed anymore.
Right. Well, do you think, I've been to World, I've been to WAF twice. Do you think that is similar or no?
I don't think so. I don't know. I've never been to Worlds. But, the people who win Zloty tend to win the Worlds as well.
Right.
But the Zloty is just, I don't know. It's the weight classes are smaller, but it's the best talent in the world in a smaller weight class. So you're not going to get any muffins. You're going to pull world-level people in your first round, except for the tourists and the first, the people who's going there for their first time. But, it's tough the whole day.
Right. Do you think that first off, I know that Ryan is following your lifting regimen, right? The lifting regimen that you came up with. So
my philosophy. He developed his own regimen, but it's my philosophy.
Oh, okay. Because I haven't really looked that deep into what vectors and stuff he's training. But I was wondering, is he supposed to be arm wrestling like you with those lifts, but you said he's doing different lifts, right?
Yeah, you pick the vectors based on the competition you got coming up. And, it's once somebody spent 8 years top rolling, it's hard to get all that sin out of them in just 1 year.
All that sin. Flush all that sin out of them. That's true. That's a good point. All that top rolling.
The Exorcist took 2.5 hours in that movie, so you got to give it a little more time than that.
That's true. That's true. Well, Todd, that pretty much works us through the Reddit. We're pretty much caught up. I passed a couple of them, but they're going to be kind of boring anyway. So I appreciate you going on this journey with us. As always, I love hearing your opinion and your thoughts on all this stuff. And I'm sure all the new guys are going to be really hyped to listening to what you have to say about their topics. Is there anything you want to give a shout out to or touch on before we go?
Nope. I look forward to seeing you in February, and then you can give me proper instructions on what a high hook is, and maybe we can name what should be called a high hook.
We will. We will make up a new move at that practice.
All right.
For sure. All right, Todd. I appreciate you talking to me, man. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, buddy.
All right. See ya. All right, guys. So that's the end of this week's podcast. We had Todd Hutchings. It's awesome. That guy is so funny. Love having that guy around. Really excited to have a practice with him next month. If you guys are in Southern California, please come out and check it out. as always, you guys go out there and train hard. Listen to everything he said. Hopefully listen to some of the stuff I say. And go be bold as shit and keep applying yourself. And don't be afraid to take a step forward, guys. All right, I'll talk to you later.